Hello.
Hi. What's up?
Just wondering if you wanted to talk Chargertron.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, children. The bad man from Florida is called again. I'll just put you outside and be back in a minute. Come on.
Screw the Transformers. The best toys were at the bottom of the toy box. Grab your nuts and bolts and join us as we talk about the best toys from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I'm Screwhead.
And I'm Avon Fox.
Chargertron. All right, the year 1984. Apple Mac is introduced in a post-apocalyptic commercial. Michael Jackson's hair burst into flames in a Pepsi ad. I believe that was Pepsi. Fonzie rode his last motorcycle on the air. Children of the Corn, Police Academy, and the not well known Where the Green Ants Dream was all released. That last one is for Avon because I didn't think about that.
I was going to say, so it wasn't a good year. It wasn't entirely a great year.
It wasn't.
Wow. There's a reference.
Anyway, and the other great thing that happened in 1984, besides the release of Robotron, was the release of Chargertron. By Buddy L. So tell me about Chargertron.
Chargertron is a two-figure toy line that involves a larger robot, which is basically a gimmick to charge up the smaller toy that sits into the top of it. It's basically a unit where you snap a small robot into the end of it, press a button, the button runs a motor in the larger unit, which is battery powered, spins up a little flywheel in the smaller robot, and when you push a button, it shoots the little robot out the end. That's it.
That's the whole line. That's it.
Well, that's basically it. But it does have the other feature is the little robot has two modes. It has attacker or tracker, and you can preset that on the larger robot, which flicks a little switch, and the smaller one keeping it in its little car mode or up in its robot mode when it takes off. That's it.
Oh, I'm about to break Avon's brain here. Here it comes.
Battery's not included.
Which mode is attacker and which mode is tracker?
Tracker is the small one. Attacker is the robot one. I hope. Yes, it is. No, it is. It is. If it isn't, I don't care.
What was the deal with the big Charger robot? Was that like because it was like two robots, right? There was like the one that shot out, and then there was the one that the thing connected the little one connected into, right?
The best I seem to remember is that the big one is the named character, and the small one is just a drone of it.
Oh, okay. Really, I think Chargertron is like it's an extremely forgettable toy line. I mean, it's one of those ones that, again, it's the unknown denizens of Cybertron. There's tons of them out there, and you just are like, what the heck is this thing right here?
It's a piece of crap. Yep.
It's a piece of crap. Yeah, I was trying to be nice, but they did leave us an extremely wonderful piece of media that I really think is the greatest thing in all time. And I'm about to play that for us right now. And feel free to dance as you're listening to this because this is amazing. All right, you ready? Here we go. And
switch on Chargertron, robots like you've never seen. Switch on Chargertron, supersonic machines.
So, Chargertron, they had much like Robotron. They had their own piece of lore that was written. It's a little more fleshed out, I suppose, than the Robotron line. There is a little debate about the origins of Antagatron and Protagatron, the two heroes or villains of this particular toy line. I'll go ahead and should I read the dramatic?
Oh, Bob, bring it on.
You think I should?
Yeah, let's do that. I think you should. I really do.
All right. Here we go. All right. In all galactic lore, there's no story as tragic and hard fought as that of the twin princes of the rival moon of the planet Robotron. I lost my place. Oh, each prince was to rule his own moon with the most successful ruler eventually becoming the new emperor of Robotron. One of the princes chose evil and destruction, set out to destroy the good prince with the aid of Antagatron, a giant mutant robot with the ability to charge up and launch a tracker that changes to attacker. Join this interplayer combat by collecting both Antagatron and his rival Protagatron, the trusted ally of the good prince. Create your own galactic adventures. So I think with that we've put to bed the debate about Antagatron and Protagatron, right? They were the twin princes. No, they weren't the twin princes.
No, they were the robots used by the twin princes.
Why can Antagatron and Protagatron just fight each other?
Because their legs are just one piece. They can't move.
Just one piece.
They're just a tube.
They're like, oh, I'm the Y.
Kicked me stuff. Yeah, they're basically that's basically he's just. This is all I got. This is how you built me. I can't even scratch.
Giant mutant robots. They're just stuck like this. Like, I'm a mutant. This is my mutation. I'm stuck like this. Once again, an excellent storyline written by Todd in accounting from Buddy L in 1984.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd. We appreciate it. And the Chargertron line, I mean, there were some variations, right? Weren't there a couple variant color-wise in that particular line?
Yep. So there's the red and silver, well, red with silver paint app, and then there's the blue with green paint app or blue with silver paint app.
So, I mean, they were released in what? I know they were released in the US and Britain.
Yep.
Anywhere
so
else?
So in the US, you got them on, not that I'm aware of. I mean, it doesn't mean they weren't. I imagine, as we discussed last week, that they were probably released in Canada as well, because why not? And it's close. Right. Obviously, you got the blister card versions in the US, but in the UK, they came on the card you held up before.
Right.
The boxed version. They made, the better version, arguably better version. And look, the blister card version may have come out in the UK or in Europe as well, but I've not seen it.
And likely it got released in Canada, just like everything else.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it was limited to the UK, France, Canada, and the US.
If you know of one in the future, anybody listening to this, please leave a comment here. Because a lot of this information that we've gathered on all this stuff, I mean, you can kind of explain it, Avon. I mean, where do we get most of this data from?
Where possible, try and get it actually from catalogs, from release information. But at the end of the day, some of it's going to be anecdotal. So you can't, if someone says, oh, yes, I had this when I was a kid and I lived in Peru. Did your parents ever go to the States? Did you have a friend in the States? Were your parents? Yeah, so a one-off anecdotal example isn't concrete, but we'll still say, anecdotally, one of these was found in this country. But obviously you need someone who said, well, I had this when I was a kid, not I bought it off eBay when I was, whatever. If you had it when you were a kid, and look, you find maybe 10 or 15 people from Peru that also had it when they were a kid, maybe it was released in Peru. Until we find some actual packaging, it's not concrete.
Right. Well, let me ask you a really important question. Do you think they took the stickers too far?
I think without them, they'd be a bit boring.
But don't you think they should have stopped like one or two stickers before they finished?
If you look at for those of you who have raced off already and had a look at the Chargertron advert, all of the toys shown in the advert are the prototypes, and they have different stickers on them. So you can look at those as well and make your own decision. I don't know. I kind of like the stickers. They're cheesy, bright. Don't know. I think the faces are crap.
I was going to say, it's hard to tell what the face is on some of them. You're like, I love Chargertron. They're a nice little piece of awful 80s mode-changing robot history. Yep. When you stick them together, you have no idea what it is. It looks like a phaser from Star Trek or some sort of psycho laser gun. But Chargertron. Anything else? I don't think there was any knockoffs about Chargertron, right?
Nope. Who'd bother? No, I mean, I've not seen one. Let's put it that way. No, I've not seen one. I mean, there's definitely been. Well, I guess is Chargertron a knockoff itself? There's definitely been a number of toys over the years from, I guess, I'm going to just shoot some names, Hot Wheels and Matchbox probably, where you snap a toy car into a charging unit. It charges the car up and it sends it across the floor.
Because me and you use different terminologies for off-brand, knockoff. Those are the two terms we use most of the time. I mean, how would you define those for anybody who's listening to this and might hear us talk about those kind of things?
Dude, this is a broad conversation. Can we just deal with the fact that you say niche and I say niche?
That's true. Aussies.
I determine off-brand as anything that isn't by one of the considered major players in that field. So not necessarily a copy of, but it is a toy that may resemble some of the characteristics of another. I mean, look, if you're going to make a transforming robot toy and someone else is going to do the same thing, there are clearly going to be some similarities, even if it's not. I mean, there's only so many animals on the planet you can make things out of. Is it a direct knockoff? Probably not. When I think of knockoff, I think of something that was pretty closely copied on the original.
And I agree. Because I don't consider Robotrons to be knockoffs of Transformer. They're off-brand. Yes, they're definitely off-brand. But they had, what's interesting about them is they had knockoffs. There was knockoffs of the Robotron, the DL Robos, and all those guys.
Yep.
So,
and I class them knockoffs.
Yeah. And speaking of confusing terminology in the world of Buddy L and Robotron, now that we have collected them both, as Chargertron says on the back of the card, they were real ambitious with it. They want us.
We have the collection.
We have the collection. So, talking about knockoffs and off-brands, let's talk about one of the next truly, I don't want to call it weird, but awesome. I'm going to commit to awesome. I'm going to commit to awesome.
Be cool.
Robotron. They've done Chargertron. We've figured out who the twin princes are, or we figured out they're fighting robots. They're chosen battle droids. They're mutant robots, as it were.
Yeah.
We've met the unknown denizens of the twin moons of the planet Robotron, or their vehicles, or whatever they were.
Yeah.
Right.
They were really invested onto this Robotron thing.
Right. They were very. So now we have the next great piece of the Robotron lore, and why don't you give us a little dramatic reading there, Avon, of the next great piece.
Do we want to announce what it's actually called?
Yeah, I think we should. We should.
Before I just read a cryptic story about nothing.
I don't know. Maybe you could.
We're talking about Robotron, the Dinosaur Collection, which they obviously tacked into the Robotron line in 1985. Post the worldwide success in America of Robotron original figures in 1984. And it too has its own little story, which I'll attempt to read now.
Worldwide success.
Hey, look, for the country that has the World Series where you guys play in it, it's a worldwide success.
It's true.
Moving right along. On the planet Robotron, yet again, the primitive power of the past fuses with the technology of the future to create a special breed of beast, robot, Robotron dinosaurs. They change at will from ferocious monsters who lurk at the planet's surface to fierce, futuristic robots. In battle, there are no fighters more feared or more powerful. The end. I know, right?
That was inspiring. That got me.
I want to go out and kill with a giant robot dinosaur now.
I think they might have actually engaged their advertising department for that one.
Yeah. Actually the story, to be really segue, is not dissimilar to the Rock Lord's Rockosaur story, where they're not aligned with anyone, they just happen to be on the planet and they're funky and they're fierce and they turn into stuff.
I mean, sure. I mean, why not? I mean, we've got Earth cars and now we've got Earth dinosaurs. I mean,
yeah,
space dinosaurs.
So they were released in a series of bright colors: red, blue, yellow. I suspect they came from a Japanese toy line that we haven't discovered yet, because it's extremely unlikely that Buddy L actually created them themselves, which is fine.
They had the monogram Robotron across the top. It was like Robotron Dinosaur, right, or something along those lines. And then the Buddy L ones didn't have any names though, right?
No, they were just the Dinosaur collection, and that's it. Which is weird for the whole, considering they gave the original Robotron figures names, but then they stopped doing that with series 2 and 3 Robotron. So maybe this is a follow-on from that. They didn't bother naming them for some reason.
Well, I mean, they fired Todd in accounting. You couldn't name them.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, all right.
Todd probably moved into HR.
I hope there was someone there named Todd that actually worked in accounting at Buddy L at the time.
Yeah.
Yes, one day he's going to be like, these guys.
We're going to get a call. We're going to get a call. 1992. We saw a company called DSI, called Diversified Specialists Incorporated, emerge. And they then re-released the Dinosaur collection under their own banner. Absolutely no connection between DSI and Buddy L has been found yet. There was rumours a number of employees from one ended up working for the other, but I haven't confirmed that as anything concrete. Feel free to go out and research. DSI picked them up and ran with it, and they gave them names. We've got Brontotron, Stegatron, and Rextron. I'm sure you can work out which are which. And they were all then released in incredibly poxy colours. So we've got sort of bright lavender. I'm going to call it pink, why not? Another bright green. And what's the other colour? Yellow, I think. Either way. Poxy colours. They look like they fell out of The Simpsons.
Who would call that lavender? Lavender.
What colour is it? I said hot lavender, electric lavender, whatever colour it is. Violet.
I'd say that term has never been uttered by anybody. Electric violet or lavender. Electric lavender.
Aggressive pink.
Aggressive pink. Moody pink. It's moody pink. It's the conversation that started this whole thing about the knockoff off-brand. So, we said Chargertron they're just off-brands, right?
Yep.
But the dinosaurs, you could easily make the argument that these are just straight knockoffs of the Dinobots.
Heavily inspired by, yeah. I mean, some of the mode changes similar. It's not, they're definitely a lot less complex.
This is true.
But
they do have a lot of the similar, yeah.
They do. And I would think that, as I said before, that they came out in Japan and then they were inspired by bootlegged, and then Buddy L happened to pick them up because Hasbro had just picked up the other ones.
So they're not knockoffs, they're off-knocks, right? Do we just make a new term up?
I'm not starting that. Someone will get offended. I think...
Right? Knock brands? What's the terminology there?
I mean, how many ways are there to inspired by? Yeah.
Plays well with.
Heavily inspired by plays well with.
Plays well with Transformers. I love it.
So while we're on 92 and DSI, they also released 2 other robots, completely unrelated, called the Robot Leaders. And they were basically Western horrible remakes of the Exabungle, or if you want to pronounce it almost remotely properly, it's Zabanguru and Blue Gale. So Iron Gear and Iron Car from Zabanguru, and they were really bad. They've been bootlegged a number of times. They've been released a number of times. It's the same mold over and over again. And I'm sure you'll stick them up on the screen with your powers of magic. And that's all I think we saw from DSI as far as mode-changing robots. They released some stencils that you could draw around and pull the thing and they move a little bit that were robots. But other than that, I think that's about all they did.
All right. So to end our Robotron journey, all right? We've covered Robotron. We've visited the twins moons of Robotron.
2 times.
We've met 2 times. We've met the antagonist. we've met the protagonist. We've traveled to the ancient past or possibly present where monsters live on the planet also. And then we fast forwarded to G2 era. Loveliness. Anything else we need to talk about in the world of Robotron?
No. And I question whether we needed to talk about what we just did.
This is a natural thing.
Why not? I would imagine that's probably played a part of that.
What was that? That was the weirdest burp I've ever heard in my life. Was that a burp? What was that, a hiccup?